Annette. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So I'm going around and asking people about the 4 eyes. Tell me about the 4 eyes.
4 eyes. I think that's Iowa.
Honestly, I do not do that.
What can you tell me about the 4 eyes?
4 eyes. I struggle with this one sometimes.
Illinois.
It's what we called kids with glasses.
Oh my God.
4 eyes, 4 eyes, 4 eyes.
Indiana.
4 eyes in Mississippi.
Do you recall the 4 eyes?
I recall they exist.
Idaho. That's the 4 eyes.
4 eyes, 4 eyes, 4 eyes.
No, seriously, in the ITLP we learned about the 4 eyes, and we stressed that throughout the whole program, and those are initiate, inquire, invest, and influence. And I think that I try to live by those and remember those as I'm going out and trying to meet people. If you never initiate a conversation, you don't know anything about that person. And I think the inquirers ask them how they feel about stuff rather than just tell them how you feel. The investing, you've got to invest time and energy into getting to know people and building relationships. And then after all of those 3 things, use your influence to help each other understand what you can do for each other and how you can help each other and grow in leadership.
Honestly, I do not do that.
Do you do any impressions?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, I could probably imitate Gary with a glass of wine.
Lori is in some ways kind of the opposite of that.
You know, it would really be difficult to try to encapsulate Brian in a single impression. So I won't even dare try doing that.
And of course there's Brian, which, do you have something I can throw?
She's more of the quiet, empathetic, identify mantra.
No, Lori was always full of wisdom and would always say awesome things.
Oh, I remember thinking about this when we first were chatting with Brian. When Brian first stood up in front of us and started talking, there were a few things that I remember that I was thinking about, that if I wasn't careful, I would end up doing that every day.
There were very few things thrown.
Yeah, there's...
It's more knowing who I am and how I do things.
What are the 3 lenses?
I don't remember.
There's a cultural lens,
So it's political.
a political lens,
Cultural. Is cultural one of them?
Yes.
and one more.
The 3 lenses are cultural, political, and strategic, and I find them useful. I actually find them useful in outside of work also, but I think it's a excellent way to look at an organization.
Putting yourself into a position to not just think black and white, or a little bit outside your world, or maybe empathy, or at least having an appreciation that there's a bigger picture here.
Sometimes there's one really great answer, but culture of either a department like ITS or the University of Iowa is just against it for some reason.
When you look at a desired future state and assess the current state, what are you doing?
Thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner tonight?
When you look at desired future state and assess the current state, what are you doing?
Well, if you're on the balcony.
When you look at a desired future state and assess the current state, what are you doing?
Being strategic. You're, looking at the desired state.
Yeah. Gap analysis. Yeah. Do you remember that?
I do remember gap analysis, yeah.
They call it a gap analysis.
A gap analysis.
Yes. Yeah.
That makes sense. What about your buttons? Brian talked to us about buttons. Do you have any buttons, Lori? You seem so composed all the time.
I have tons of buttons, Jennifer.
So that sense of entitlement, which then I think leads to kind of a level of disrespect, where they just want to say, well, I know somebody who could have done it. Just, it's not helping anybody.
So leadership. I think that's about getting my team to do what I want them to do and doing all my work for me so I can go golf.
Everybody has the books they read, right?
Yeah.
One of my main books that I read is Lincoln on leadership, and so I've read that backward forward. I think he was an amazing leader, somewhat of an unintentional leader in ways, but he was just brilliant on how he did it. Surrounding himself with diverse opinions when it maybe wasn't the easiest path.
You're using the whole team and looking at their strengths and their skill sets and bringing everybody in the team as an important factor in getting the job done.
I would say number one is just the sense of community.
One of the strong pluses for me has been being able to meet and interact and build strong relationships with people that I otherwise wouldn't have met.
All the stuff in the program is valuable, but it was the meeting the people at other institutions.
The best part of it was building relationships with all of the other people that I did not know previously.
Definitely the biggest was the relationship building.
I think it's the relationships that you're building with people.
Are there any people you wish you hadn't met through the ITLP?
Oh, probably.
Like who?
I'm trying to think of something funny to say here.